So I'd like to welcome Greg.avi with the speech, Just a Country Boy. Just a Country Boy, Greg.avi.
Ladies and gentlemen, why am who I am? Obvious question, certainly not a revolutionary one. In fact, it's an age-old concept. Am I a subject of my genes and evolution? Or am I a subject of my environment, the nurturing I received as I grew up? I was born in country New South Wales. I grew up in my formative years in a town called Cootamundra. I'm sure everybody knows where that is. I'm one of 4 children. I have 2 older, very sadistic sisters. I won't go into some of those stories, they're frightening. And a younger brother, of course. And we spent our childhood, I think, as a part of a mob. And this is very typical of a country town. The kids, they tend to get together in the neighbourhood. And at any time of the day or night during the year, or especially during the holidays, you would see the kids roaming the streets, playing cricket, football. My favourite was hide-and-go-seek, you know, on the grassy verges that surrounded the roads in our neighbourhood, especially into the summer nights, into the dark. So my childhood was one of self-fulfilment in terms of finding our own fun, having to work your imagination, right, and building those social skills as part of a group. You know, the courage to invent the game and then to sell it to your group. And then, of course, as in any group, solving those little difficulties that arise. You know, learning and communication skills to handle the bullies. And I can say that on many occasions I grabbed my bat and ball and went home in a huff before I conquered some of those skills. But that as it may. I guess as we grew up, we learned a lot of things in the country town. Now, holiday times were especially important for country kids, right? Because in many cases, most country kids, their parents would be off to the beach house. Well, my dad was a shearer. He travelled a lot. He was often away for weeks at a time. And of course, as a shearer, you take the work when it comes. So you could never guarantee that we were going to be able to take off for school holidays. Of course, holidays for us were mostly around Christmas. There's not a lot of shearing done at Christmas time. The farmers are all at their beach houses or off overseas spending their money. So we would have a holiday at Christmas. If we did and we went away, then what we would do would we'd go and visit relatives, of course. What else do you do? And off we'd trot to Warren in New South Wales. Warren's in the outback. It's actually a hellhole. It's so hot. It's so hot in Warren at Christmas time. I remember one year I got a skateboard for a present. I was so excited, jumped on the skateboard straight outside, put it on the road to go skating, and the wheels melted. Serious? Terrible, terrible memories of holidays. There was an upside. I got time to spend with my cousin Butch. He was a god to a little kid. Right, he was about 8 or 9 years older than me. He could shoot, he knew how to fish, he could survive in the bush with nothing more than a safety pin and a broken watch. At least I thought so at the time. He taught me how to shoot, he took me duck hunting, he took me fox shooting or kangaroo shooting. You know, he taught me lots of things about how to be comfortable in the bush. So you learn these sorts of things when you're a country kid. But I guess when you look back on your life, there are times when you look back on your life where there have been critical moments. I was a Catholic lad. I grew up in a Catholic school. You know, the Sisters of Mercy in primary. They were called the Sisters of Mercy because we had to beg them for mercy so often. Because they punished every misdemeanour with a leather strap. but a Catholic upbringing. So I carry the burden of Catholicism, the guilt. Always feeling guilty. But in truth, I guess I'm an honest person at heart. I recall a time when I went shopping with my dad. And we were buying, as you do, Saturday morning up the street with Dad to buy the winter underwear for the year, get the news like. Anyway, I was watching him paying the guy, and I noticed that the attendant counted 2 less than actually were there. I never said anything. I was walking out down the street with my dad, and I said, "Boy, that was a sweet deal, Dad." "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, you only paid for 6, we actually got 8. He turned straight back around, went back to the shop, and paid for the extra pair of underpants. And I said, "Well, why?" He said, "Son, if we had have walked away with those 2 underpants, we would have been thieving." He said, "I'm not a thief. More important, I live in a country town. This is a small place. We know each other. I know Mr. D. I know how hard he works. I couldn't cheat him because I know he wouldn't cheat me." I learned a valuable lesson that day from my father. When you're out shopping, watch the attendant. Because if he can undercharge you, he can also overcharge you. So watch what he's doing and make sure you count your underpants. Ladies and gentlemen, I grew up in a country town. A lot of who I am today is not the subject of my genes. I blame my mother for my way, my father for my behind. But who I am as a person has got more to do with the life I lived in a country town.